welcome, welcome to the news and updates. This is our 209th episode. Thank you all for your kind thoughts during my very, very short absence from the news and updates. Felt like forever. But this is the first time I've missed the show for non-technical reasons in 4 years. That's amazing for me.
Pretty good record there, Laurel.
That's
Well,
kind
I'll
of
tell you
wild.
what, you were so missed, Laurel, and we have a new
Aw.
appreciation for you. Oh my goodness, what an appreciation for you we have for what you do behind
Yes.
the scenes. Everyone,
Thank you.
everyone, let's wish her a very welcome back. I wish you could have seen the flurry behind the curtains. Oh, what it takes to do this show every week and we stepped up at the last minute, but oh boy, you are amazing, girl.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
she
you.
is.
Well, thank you to everyone on our support team for stepping up and people who, Steph stepped up and Marcia and Karen and everybody stepped up. It was a beautiful thing. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. I also want to tell you that I met a nurse from Nicaragua who asked me my job. And when I told him that I taught classes in virtual reality with educators in VR, he was amazed. He'd never heard such a thing. I thought, didn't everybody know virtual reality by now? He immediately saw the potential for local and international collaboration for startups and really innovating education in his home country. You know what? It reminded me why I do
Wow.
this. Isn't that so cool? It's just such a gift. So what ended up being, it ended up being a good thing to get sick and meet this man who just really, really inspired me afresh. So there's
Wow.
good in everything.
Yes, there is. I love that, Laurel. See, good things come from bad things. Well,
Yes.
you cannot believe how happy we are to have you back with new energy and enthusiasm. We need you. You
Oh
Oh,
are
boy,
thank
do
you.
we.
sorely
And
missed.
indeed, we really, really, really do. Now, back to the show. News and Updates has been bringing you the news from around Allspace VR community and beyond for over 4 years. And we do it with an equal mix of tears, laughter, and this month, lots of groans and moans and scary tones.
We do not work for AltSpace VR. We are not employees. We're volunteers under the watchful eye of our haunting producer, Mark, who literally scares us into behaving each week.
We have plenty of news to share with you, both hunting and hallowed. So let's get walking. All right.
Woo!
Okay, before we get into the crazy week of news with Facebook Meta, the potential impact and risk of Elon Musk in charge of a key social media platform, and other bonkers stuff, let's take a look at the news from our corner of the metaverse, the AltSpace VR community and platform.
This week, Trisha Williams presented at TEDx San Diego from Altspace VR on being an avatar and what it means to be an avatar of yourself, discussing embodiment and presence in VR. Trisha Williams is CEO of Origami Air, a VR production company we've mentioned in the past, doing innovative production work in video and VR gaming, filming, and they also work with the Arthur C. Clarke Center for Human Imagination.
Yes, indeed. And she talked about the equality of gaming through her avatar and not judged by her gender or physical perception, something many of us feel here in Allspace VR in our avatars. We are us, our true us. What lies beyond the skin and bones used to judge us. We're beyond that.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
In her 10-minute presentation, she says this forces us out of direct person perspective and into forming opinions based upon indirect person perspective. This means that we have to listen to what other people are saying. We have to observe their actions. We have to interact with them on a personal level in order to form an opinion about the human being inside that avatar.
That
Mm.
is so powerful. She asks, how are you going to represent the content of your book? The book of your life, story, and personality. When you are no longer reliant upon your book cover, VR has the ability, I just put an ad in front of me. VR has the ability,
Mm.
bear with me, to change perception through our avatars. Because virtual avatars are changing our perception of who we are to others, as well as who we are to our very inner self.
Powerful words. Powerful
Mhm.
words. We shared this amazing TED Talk on our news and updates. Please take time to watch and maybe share it with others, as this may help people understand better what we already know, that it's not your skin that makes you who you are. It's not even your avatar that makes you who you are. It's what's within. So VR is changing us for the better. Love it.
Yes. And Laptop Magazine published an article this past week on how to access the metaverse. It was an interesting look at what devices connect to which platforms and what you need to join them.
For example, VR Chat and AltSpace VR allow the most common VR consumer headsets, as well as 2D desktop and laptop access. Horizon only allows full access with a Quest 1 or 2 headset and no other headsets, though we've been told that other headsets and 2D access are coming.
At one time, AltSpace VR supported the wildest range of headsets and access methods. We're all eager to see it reclaim that status very soon.
We're seeing more and more companies coming into AltSpace VR, as we've reported on, and we've reported on many of them. An article this week on ZDNet highlighted how businesses are using VR to just connect with their employees and provide job training and meetups, but also with clients to showcase demos.
Global survey company Sienna said that 71% of professionals see the metaverse becoming part of existing work practices. They expect that within 2 years, it will be normal to meet and greet in the metaverse, with Accenture on Microsoft's enterprise version of AltSpace VR leading the way.
Now, speaking of businesses coming into AltSpace VR, this week, the DevHouse agency in Dallas was acquired by the Metaverse Design and Innovation Consultancy Journey to bring businesses into the metaverse and AltSpace VR fast.
Well, the agency launched Walmart Land, Universe of Play, and Electric Fest in Roblox, and also have their eye on bringing big business to ASVR. We're not sure if they are targeting the consumer or enterprise version. We'll be keeping an eye on the news for you. I wonder if that means we could get blue light specials.
That's Kmart. Kmart.
Kmart.
Oh.
Yes, Kmart.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry.
So MMA. You made me say 2 M's, Laurel. So MMA, mixed martial arts, is coming to AltSpace VR. Yes, Laurel's fault. With Brave Combat Freedom Federation. It was announced this week that the largest MMA group developed in Qatar and Bahrain. Yesterday, the latest live event was streamed from AltSpace VR for thousands in AltSpace, as well as those watching the live stream.
These metafights use the latest in graphical standards for 3D diffusion, which likely means they're using Microsoft Mesh technology. The company expects metafights to expand, allowing viewers to change their vantage point and view the fights from a variety of positions, including from within the cage itself. Fascinating.
Oh, wow. That's a game changer. The Brave Combat Freedom Foundation was founded by the son of the Sheikh of Qatar, thus part of the so-called royal government of the country, which had us asking, who is investing in the metaverse, thus in AltSpace VR, right? This is a good question.
Always follow the money. TechDot Company Corporation produced an article this week with a short list of where to put your investment money. I can tell them where. And who is, somebody just did something. And who is doing the investing? Decentraland, Roblox, Sandbox, Axie Infinity, and Battle Infinity were the top platforms and gaming apps. Unity led the gaming development engine investment recommendation.
Then the normal investors and companies to invest in followed up the list with Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Epic Games, and Animoca Brands, the company behind the Sandbox. Who's investing in the metaverse?
Nike, Walmart, IKEA, Adidas, and Pepsi are pouring millions into the metaverse market, expected to be worth more than 800 billion with a B by 2030. So get your wallets out.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah. The International New York Times had a reporter really dive deeper into the metaverse more than usual, saying it was time to explore life in the universe from the perspective of those who have no experience to judge it. It's about time. I think that's a good perspective, I'd say.
Yes.
I agree. The reporter found a recently graduated college student who found himself depressed and alone during the pandemic. In December of 2020, he wandered into a computer store and bought a Quest 2 out of curiosity. He quickly found social VR, specifically Altspace, and found that companionship, no longer feeling alone.
Oh, I can relate to that. This is so much the truth for many of us in Altspace VR. Right, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
It changed their lives as it has changed ours. We love it when a reporter gets closer to the truth of the joy we find here in our community. My doctor even went out and got a new headset. He had to inform me on
Yay.
Wednesday.
Wow,
Don't we
that's
all love it?
Excellent. Yay, we do. We do.
So, The Telegraph, a leading newspaper in the UK, published an article recently by Io Dodds, a business reporter in San Francisco, called My Metaverse Diary. We love it when people enter the metaverse and social VR for the first time and try to explain it to themselves as well as to the audience.
That reporter spent most of their time, those reporters spent most of their time in VR chat, which had a good and bad moments as usual, reporting that parental negligence is pretty bad. We so agree. Most of their social time was spent in VR chat. Then they came to Altspace VR for religion.
Altspace VR is becoming the playground for churches and ministries holding services, flooding the weekend and weekly events calendar with massive events. It's a shame that they didn't spend more time in Altspace VR to find out about the wealth of other events and worlds, but we are grateful to be highlighted with such huge media coverage. How cool.
That's for sure. So VR Chat announced this week that they have finally added experimental support for hand tracking on the Quest 2 and Quest Pro. We're waiting for the same thing right here in Altspace VR. If you want hand tracking, take a moment in your day to go to altvr.com/support and provide a feedback request saying you want hand tracking in Altspace. We'd really appreciate that.
We would. And I might just ad lib a little bit here. I've talked to 2 people here in Altspace that got their pros and they love them. They love them.
Quest
So I
Pro.
can't wait to try one. So to no one's surprise, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, took sole
Almost.
possession of Twitter on Thursday amid advertisers and users fleeing the social media platform. Musk tweeted, Twitter will be forming a new content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints. And that no major content decisions were made. Shall we call them notorious? Account reinstatements will happen before the council convenes. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Mr. Musk's well known personal views, as well as his firing of officers presently in charge of operations and moderation at Twitter, has done nothing to allay fears about the fate of this always notoriously fractious platform. Finding a set of regulations that will assure a fair balance between civility and freedom may be a pipe dream.
Wow. You mean there's no way to apply that old rule that says your freedom to swing your fists ends before it hits someone else in the nose, verbally or literally?
Oh, come on, y'all. Don't get me started. I'm really
we
not
won't.
happy about any of this. I'm so this is crazy, Megan.
Absolutely. Here in Allspace VR, our community has had its share of trolls and marauding malcontents. Respect hasn't been earned yet. When you're among strangers and being relatively anonymous in any situation is more freeing than most children. Yeah, relatively anonymous in any situation is more freeing than most children, and some adults can handle responsibility. Allspace VR knows, maybe better than Musk, to keep it in mind, and simply morality affects the sustaining economics of their platforms as well as their own legal liabilities.
Up until now, Twitter had pages and pages of rules. The AltSpace VR community proudly upholds a single, powerful paragraph. Although not strictly enforced, our community supports this in our community standards, terms, and conditions, and our behavior on the platform.
Maybe Twitter ought to consider what it says.
I think it's a
Yes.
work of art. It reads, Altspace VR is an international community of users from many different cultural backgrounds.
Each community member has their unique background, cultural practices, accents, and mannerisms, belief structure, and reasons for being in VR.
As a community enriched by this multicultural environment, there will be no tolerance for bigotry about any user's race, nationality, spiritual beliefs, physical abilities, or sexual orientation.
Any language meant to defame or injure another user will result in immediate account suspension and a determination of whether the account will be closed permanently. I love that.
I do too.
I would love to see Twitter embrace something like that, but I
Yeah.
fear, I
I have
fear.
fear. Yeah, we're not going to know
Mhm,
what's going to happen now. Hey,
mhm.
folks,
No.
guess what? Daylight savings time. Love it or
Ah!
hate it, it's coming. Clocks in the UK, most Europe, and many other countries change tonight. The US and other countries change in November. Australia changed October 1st. So they've already had time zone challenges. We think we have it bad.
Oh, God, we remind you twice a year of the madness of daylight savings time because VR is international. We meet
Ugh.
regardless of physical, political boundaries and daylight savings time changes.
Also,
Ugh.
remember that while it might change in your city, state, or region or not, your neighboring city, state, or region might be on a different time schedule. In Mexico, the country has voted to end daylight savings time and stick to standard time throughout the year. But if you are in the northern areas like Juarez, Tijuana, and Mexicali along the U.S. border, they will follow the time zone changes across the continent that the U.S. follows for ease of commerce, as the border is so fluid, putting them on a different time zone sometimes from the rest of Mexico.
Well, just 20 minutes from me, 20 minutes, it's an hour ahead. Talk about confusing.
Yes, indeed.
Talk about confusing. Click on the link to your favorite event. Do this multiple times during the week to ensure that it is the time it is, not when you expect it to be, because it might not be.
Time zones and daylight savings time are absolute madness times in AltSpace VR and all the way across the metaverse. All AltSpace VR events are set according to the time zone of the person creating the event, not attending the event. The time that you see should be right, but sometimes it doesn't self-correct after the daylight savings time shift properly for 24 to 48 hours, causing massive confusion. So if you really want to be there, check in with the event host to find out what time zone they are in and then manually adjust to your time zone. You don't want to miss a moment of anything here in Altspace VR, do you? So hang in
No,
there.
no, no, no. So keep checking those. Keep checking your
Yeah.
event times. They could change minute to minute.
Mhm.
Now, girls, ladies,
Mhm.
ladies and gentlemen out there, on to some fun alt space VR news, so to speak. Laptop Magazine also featured an article this week declaring that there are indeed strip clubs in the metaverse and asked how much do VR exotic dancers make? Let's answer that question first, then on to the fun part.
Now, a few publicly visible, don't mean that as a joke,
Ooh.
metaverse strippers claim that they've made up to $1 million a year, but that claim was a scam. And many people fell for that. I mean, honestly, can you believe that? Just
Oh,
some
jeez.
people.
Yeah. Well,
Ugh.
according to metaverse strippers and VR chat receiving tips for tricks, it might add up to a few dollars to maybe 1,000 or so a month. Not a lot. Payments or donations made through Cash App or Venmo links in their bios, not directly in world payments. So it's kind of complicated.
Now to the fun part, okay?
Finally.
When the first version of the Sci-Fi World Kit, y'all know it's sitting in the world thing, the Sci-Fi Kit came into Allspace VR. It had a pole dancing bar that was included and it was overlooked by the staff. When a huge group went in for the first time to explore the new demo template, well, we weren't prepared for the fun that came when we encountered the science fiction strip club, but didn't stop us. let me let me explain. Now, what you see up on the screen is probably something we shouldn't show, but it's just too funny. Okay, we're adults here. It's funny. We pulled this out of the ancient Allspace VR archives and wiped the dust off and a little bit of rust. The Microsoft Kinect was very popular at the time for Rift and Windows Mixed Reality users, and it allowed the arms and legs to be engaged, so to speak.
Engaged.
And those that are using these body tracking devices saw an opportunity to have way too much fun, and we were in stitches. I can't tell you. I was like wetting my pants. We were laughing so hard. They turned their avatars skin colored, thus looked naked, and which was a thing in those days, and managed to somehow manipulate their avatars to pole dance. I cannot tell you what position this person was in the real world in order to hang upside down, but their arms were stretched out in every direction. It was hysterical. And anyway, we weren't laughing at the naked part. We were just laughing at the crazy arm and leg stuff. That was the bonkers part of it all.
Ah, the good old days. Are we really sure we want arms and legs back?
Oh, I'm
Yes.
lost, so-
Yes. We want them.
I'm lost. Go take it, girls.
Anyway, you probably won't ever see that ever again, but boy, that was a fun hour. Anyway,
Well, you know, it makes you giggle, and that's the best medicine. We need more of that, right?
we do. Okay, Marcia?
Yeah. I would if I could. I would
It's
if I
time for
could.
our
I really
fun.
would.
It's the fun stuff now where we're going to go to some bizarre off-topic craziness. Karen?
Yes,
Letter
ma'am.
F.
Okay. How many of you
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
roll out of bed or walk a few steps from your bedroom or across your living room to dive into VR and travel the world? You visit faraway places, meet people from around the world, and you do it from the comfort of your favorite chair. We hope.
Yeah.
Or bed, wherever you want to be. Travel records are expected to be broken by the bar-tailed godwit bird, as they've recently been tracked flying from Alaska to the Australian state of Tasmania, a distance of 13,580 kilometers or 8,435 miles. Talk about a long commute.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Well, now let's see if I can get this weird name out of my mouth. Okay, the bar-tailed godwits are nested and hatched in Southwest Alaska, and several were tagged with a GPS chip to follow their very first migration across the Pacific Ocean at the age of 5 months.
Mm.
Amazing. Not only did they travel that huge distance, but they did it in 11 days without stopping. Is a whole new meaning to that.
Wow.
Yeah, I just flew in and my arms were so tired joke. But next time, I want you to consider this next time you whine about that long airplane ride or even about how tough it is to walk all the way to that chair. because that's 11 days without stopping. That's a long,
Jeez.
long commute.
That
Oh,
is.
I'm
amazing.
tired
Wow.
already thinking about
I
it.
know.
Me too.
Well, you know what else? We've all been known to drop the F bomb once in a while
Mhm.
here, of course, only when we and where appropriate. And in a proper sentence. You keep the F bomb in a proper sentence. That's a
Mhm. It's
good one. I
grammatically
like that
correct.
one.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
like it too.
Did you know that the U.S. state of Maine allowed swear words on their vehicle license plates? Well, until recently, anyway.
I
Well,
see.
it seems that while the government of Maine advocates free speech, a decision was made that vehicle license plates are not self owned but state property.
Hmm.
Thus, now they are restricting vanity license plates that take, shall we say, profane liberties.
Mm.
Hmm. Maine is known as the Puritan state, founded by Puritans, the old ultra conservative New England religious group. So it was a surprise to many that people have been getting away with FU and the other colorful expressions for quite a few years. Well, sorry, Mainers, you have now been cut off literally.
Oh my goodness. We go to great lengths to find these things for you. So help us out. If you find something that's funny and you think it's worthy to share on our show, please let us know in the news and updates Discord. It might find its way here for all of us to giggle at.
Well, that's what I said earlier. Giggling is the
Yep,
best medicine. We
it
need
is
more of it,
indeed. It
right?
is indeed.
Everyone, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, on Marcia. Now we're gonna head into some world building news. Boy, we have some fun news, man.
Oh, yes.
Boy, Steph, bless her heart,
Mhm.
spent much of the past week watching as much of the Blunder Beacon convention through their live stream and YouTube and brought her report to us. Thank you, Steph.
Mhm.
Blender creator Ton Rosendahl gave a rousing keynote recounting how tidal forces and future concerns have been affecting him, Europe at large, and Blender in particular sense. He was only partly joking.
Partly. He talked
Mhm.
about the elephant in the room, artificial intelligence, and how Blender is bringing AI to its creative platform for good. Doing much of the boring, repetitive work, already the developers are using AI with materials, texturing, and baking of 3D objects. I love AI.
Oh,
Me
well,
too.
when it does redundant work like that, where you spend hours and hours and hours doing something that is just I think it's brilliant.
It
Artisan
is.
Blender Kit tool developer Willem Duha spoke on integrating AI tools, saying AI is no longer a joke and its potential is exponential. He shared that artificial intelligence uses data sets derived from the internet as their neural network memories. Billman made a prediction that the flood of bad artificial AI art is just a phase, and that good quality art through AI influence is coming soon. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Blender has been on the cutting edge of 2D and 3D modeling since 1994. If any forward thinkers can forge ahead with these tools, it's these guys. We are all looking forward to learning more about where Blender is going and how it will make our world building creative expression easier and more powerful. Thank you again, Steph, for the great summary of the sold out convention.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely. This week also brought a huge announcement regarding Blender. The Volkswagen Group has formally pledged 120,000 euros a year to the Blender Foundation to encourage ongoing development and in honor of the 20th anniversary of Blender. The VW Group is the first major automotive company to become a foundation patron. Exciting news for our favorite world building development tool.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay, on to a little bit of Halloween news. So, Halloween
Mhm.
Fright Night and World Maze annual events are here, and crowds are flocking to celebrate Halloween here in Altspace VR, one of the most exciting events of the year.
You just love it too much.
She
Educators in
does.
VR and their team will be haunting later tonight through
Ooh.
Halloween, along with Psycho Wench Productions Fear Pandemonium events.
How
Love
many of
it.
you want to go out and buy one of those equalizer
Absolutely.
adjuster auto voice mod things now? Just she's selling them right here up here. All right, tonight is the first of several Dia de los Muertos Mexican holiday traditional events for the Day of the Dead by the Spanish language team of educators in VR. And trust me, this is a beautiful world done by Lucy Capone, and you do not miss the event tonight. Just a few hours.
December is our annual community holiday storytelling and world tours event. If you wish to participate in any of these, please let us know. We want to really embrace the global nature of the AltSpace VR community with worlds and stories that represent the holiday traditions of the world.
Yay. All right, everyone, it's time for some tech talk and hardware.
Yay! A couple days ago, Nicholas Johannesson created an infographic he calls XR HMD Positioning Map, and it lists all the different consumer and enterprise level headsets available today, as well as their appropriate suitability for casual and enthusiast use, office work, or field or lab work.
Wow. Many believe that one headset should do it all, but it doesn't work that way. The infographic divides the headsets by mobile or wireless for consumers, then professional for enterprise and corporate level use, PCVR tethered consumer and pro versions as well. An very interesting analysis and breakdown of headset specialization and audience.
Mm-hmm. Typing in VR. It's our favorite thing
Oh,
to do, isn't it?
ugh.
God. Over the years, we've reported on many attempts to make typing in headsets easier. While we wait, a study's been released exploring the efficacy of hands-free text selection systems for VR headsets. If we can't type, can we select text for editing?
Researchers in the UK are investigating different hands free text selection approaches that combine hands, voice, and eyes to interact with the text. Without going into the details, which are still inconclusive, the researchers are finding that eye blinks are actually very efficient as a selection mechanism, something we didn't really expect.
Huh.
Really? Really? You know, participants were asked to intentionally blink their eyes to select text. When people intentionally blink, they hold their eyes closed for longer, thus allowing the eye tracking in the headset to recognize the action, thus improving the response. Combined with focused gaze, let me stare into your eyes, this could be the start of a really cool thing, right? We'll keep an eye on this research for you.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Okay, so many of us love using the virtual desktop app on our Quest and other headsets to allow us to connect with our computer wired or wirelessly from within the headset. Virtual Desktop announced an update this week with support for the new Quest Pro and Pico 4 headsets and controllers.
The update also included several bug fixes for tethered and linked headsets to computers with updated NVIDIA and AMD drivers. For those who spend much time of their day in VR virtual desktop, it's a great app that helps you multitask.
Mm-hmm. Now, leaks that Samsung is working on a new headset continue to fill many of us with delight, especially when some of us old timers started out with the Samsung Gear Oculus headsets, and we were so sorry when Samsung stepped away. Well, it looks like they're stepping back, but not with VR. It looks like AR headsets.
Hmm. Old timers, huh? This is exciting for a variety of reasons, but mostly because if any company is going to take this to the next level, especially for consumers as well as enterprise customers, Samsung might just be the company. Again, these are rumors, and we don't know if the proposed headset will strictly be AR or a combination, but we'll be watching.
We will. While rumors continue to rage about the next consumer headset by Facebook Meta, CNET states that they have confirmation that a mainstream lower cost follow up to the Quest 2, now 2 years old, is coming in 2023. There are many parts of this announcement that are puzzling, so we're going to break it down for you.
Okay, here we go. The price of the Quest 2 went up by $100 this summer, blamed on higher costs, inflation, recession, and likely stockholder complaints about Zuckerberg's metaverse business decisions and losses, while hinting that they raised the price to compete better with the new Pico 4, priced at $100 more than the Quest 2.
Okay, so if they kept it at the lower price, we believe that would have influenced budget buyers, right?
Well,
It's crazy.
will it be less than the Quest 2? What does that mean for quality and features? It would be odd to say that the Quest 2 is better than the Quest 3, as one would expect a version 3 is to be better, but we're living in a very twisted world anyway.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Hence my
So
twisted
far-
noise.
So far, rumors are that the Quest 3 will not have face and eye tracking and may be $100 cheaper than the Quest 2. They ought to call it the Quest 1.2 or so. Okay.
Yes,
Anyway, only
really,
time will
it's
tell.
bizarre.
I give it a point.
you know, this isn't the only confusing thing that is coming out of Facebook Meta. Remember the video shown a few weeks ago that seemed to promise that Horizon avatars would soon have legs? Well, it's been confirmed that was a lie. It was an attempt to sell you on something that they're not working on.
Jeez. One of the biggest
Jeez.
complaints since our avatars and alt space changed has been the lack of legs and feet. Don't you wish you had yours back? They didn't do anything but act like sticks under our pants and skirts, but they had shoes and we liked them. We want them
Mhm.
back. At least we have thighs. The poor people
Yeah.
on Horizon don't even have thighs. So we're grateful for what we have.
Yes, we are. Sort of.
Well, sort of, yeah. We'll talk about thighs later. How many of you are really tired of the Oculus controller joystick drift? We've mentioned several
Ugh.
solutions here on the show over the past year or so, and we have another one from Android Central. And it isn't just Oculus users. Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons and PS5 controllers are also suffering from the drift.
Wow.
Begin by taking your batteries out for a few minutes and then inserting them. If it doesn't work, there are two other options. Wait 12 hours with the batteries out and it likely will work, or try new batteries.
That's crazy.
Well,
It sure is.
if that doesn't work, clean the controller. Push and hold the controller in different directions to see if something is in there like dust, or the crumbs from that cookie you snacked on while watching this show, or the fried chicken leg you took a quick bite of because you were really starving, but you were too interested and didn't want to leave the show.
Yeah, grease and controllers and joysticks don't get along.
No, they
Mm-mm.
don't.
Okay. Now, if that doesn't work, please don't report it to AltSpace. It's not an AltSpace thing. If it doesn't work, contact Meta support and give them a good whine. Seriously, this bothers too many of us, and we'd like this fixed permanently for all.
Yes. Yes.
Yeesh.
Here, take them a glass of wine and wine. Yeah, let's do that.
Exactly.
Okay, folks, let's explore some news from around the metaverse. News you need to know as it impacts many of us. Laurel, take it away.
Before we get to some not so fun news, this is a reminder that the annual Steam Scream Fest sale is on Steam, and there are some VR goodies for sale.
VR titles
Mm.
on sale include The Forest, Phasmophobia, Inside the Backrooms Lands, Devour, Afterlife VR, The Brookhaven Experiment, After the Fall, Nightmare Rooms VR, Arizona Sunshine, and other horror and thriller games. If you're into Halloween gore, this is the time to get out your wallet.
Mhm.
Speaking of Steam, this week the Valve-owned platform broke new records with over 30 million people logged into simultaneously. You believe that? Wow.
Wow,
Steam
that's incredible.
continues to grow as a gaming and app marketplace, especially over the past 2 years. But this is exciting news. Congratulations, Steam.
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay. Meta, 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 Zuckerberg. Oh my God. Honestly, every time we put the news together each week, it's like if it ain't got bad news, it's still got bad news. Being an innovator clearly isn't easy for this company and its founder. God.
Oh,
Oh, there's so much meta news this past week. It would take 4 shows to adequately cover it all. So we're going to cherry pick the news items that we feel are most important for you to know as it impacts Quest 2 headset users, as well as metaverse in general.
after massive fines and bans throughout Europe for violating laws and regulations on privacy, competition, and consumer projections, including a $267 million fine from WhatsApp from the EU. Yesterday, Turkey fined Meta $18.6 million for failure to comply with their competition authority. Meta was fined $70 million last year by the UK, basically doing the same thing.
This week, the state of Washington in the U.S. fined Meta for $25 million for violating election campaign finance disclosure laws,
Ugh.
considered the largest campaign finance penalty in U.S. history.
Wow.
Speaking of breaking records, in July of 2019, the United States Federal Trade Commission fined Facebook $5 billion for violating consumer privacy, the largest amount on record fined against any global company for user privacy violations.
Well, the company in total is worth an estimated 900 billion. It has paid billions of dollars in fines in the last 23 years. Where's all this money coming from? Okay, who's paying for all of this? Don't answer
Really?
that. Okay,
Our
it's rhetorical.
headsets.
We are. We're paying for it. We're always paying for this.
True. Okay, add to this the news this week that shares of their S&P stock crashed nearly 24% following a dismal earnings report. It is now down below $100 a share and expected to lose even more as the stock has been on a long downhill slide since their announcement last year of the name change. Let's put this into perspective.
A year ago, Meta was worth nearly $900 billion. Yesterday, it lost $600 billion in value, down $263 billion. Like the record-breaking fines, this stock crash also broke records as the largest single company crashes of all times. The former record-holding loss was the Enron crash that cost investors $75 billion.
And this one was 600 billion. Jeez.
I know.
Okay, so what does this mean for us, for Facebook and for Meta users? Well, we're not too sure, but it can't be good.
No, it can't be good. In general, it will likely mean more layoffs, less innovation, and higher prices. Right now, we enjoy Facebook, WhatsApp, and other Facebook Meta apps for free, supported by advertising. Advertisers tend to run when the stock market crashes. So do investors. We're all running
Yeah.
away from it. Yeah.
You know, there's so many questions, but the biggest one is whether or not investors have the power to put the single driving force behind the metaverse for consumers out of business or to stop investing in the metaverse. This is something that impacts all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be fair and put this metaverse stock market crash into another perspective. Since Facebook Meta announced the name change decision, and even before that, the stock market has been all over the place with fears as rumors of recession, massive inflation, all kinds of fears and conjecture are making businesses tighten their belts.
Laurel, you might want to re-enter because you could barely
Oh,
hear you.
okay. So
Um,
thank you.
I
Sure.
heard her. Okay.
In this, oh, all right. Maybe it was just me. In this chart from investors.com, you can see that all major tech and web based businesses have tanked over the past year. Microsoft, a stable company, is down 30%. Even Adobe is down 50%. None of this is good, but it could also be a market stabilization, as things have been very volatile over the past 10 years.
We are able, we are playing a long-term game here. And we will do the best watching it for you. Don't worry, we got this. And we'll be here to bring you the news as we see it, where all this takes us.
On a slightly different subject, Lorel and many others have been switching their home internet to T-Mobile across the United States due to the improvements in their home internet service that taps into 5G networks, thus cell towers, rather than relying on ancient copper phone cables and DSL connections. Comcast has introduced a similar feature. However, it comes with some hidden costs we'd like to warn you about.
Comcast is preparing to roll out the long-awaited faster broadband speed, but to do so, you must also rent Comcast hardware. You may not want to, as it costs an extra $14 to $25 a month, and is considered a glorified home data monitoring subscription service. Glorified home data?
What this means is that they'll be able to monitor and control your internet access and speeds even more than before, throttling them back when you go beyond what they want. We're sure there'll be lawsuits over this.
Currently, an estimated 83 million Americans live under what is called broadband monopoly, with no alternative to switch internet providers. That's me. I compare this news with what the airline industry is doing with charging people for luggage and soon carry-ons. It's free money to the airlines, and it actually decreases their costs as more and more people travel with less luggage, putting baggage handlers out of jobs.
Oh, as always, your access to the metaverse is important to us. And we'll keep an eye on all these things and report them as we find them.
Yes, we will. So it's time now for our Discord tip of the week. Discord is our back channel communications tool used by AltSpace VR and events and many groups all across the AltSpace community.
It's confirmed that gamers are excited. Discord's full integration of Discord will happen in March next year, allowing users to play and communicate openly and freely. The initial integration began earlier this year for US players and is expected to be global next year.
In other Discord news, Netflix has launched a Discord bot to stream movies on the social platform for watch parties with threaded discussions. This will allow someone with a Netflix account to set up watch parties with server groups supporting the Discord bot with a /hey Netflix command. Fun.
I see great possibilities with this. Discord is our
Yes.
key back channel communications platform for AltSpace and our community, especially for the events community. And we love sharing tips, tricks, and news to help you use it better. You can find more information in our news and updates Discord. And if you have tips, when you have some news, please share them with us, and you may end up finding them here.
Now, on for AltSpace events. Woo!
Wow.
Yay.
After the event today, be aware that ghosts, goblins, zombies, and other lovely creatures will be on the prowl for Halloween parties, hauntings, and more throughout the next 3 days as AltSpace VR loosens the locks on the doors, covering the underworld dungeon.
If you need a break from the horrors and the monsters, check out Muse's Sunday Chill as they visit their lotus blossom world, symbolic of the Shambhala temples of the higher dimensional realms, to lift your spirit and meditate among the beauty.
Failed to Renter comedy show for adults is having a Mapleverse event to celebrate the fall with comedy for adults only, with multiple events all week.
I love it, Mapleverse. Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the fifth
Yeah,
year the
it's funny.
Creative Writing Meetup with Laurel has hosted the National Novel Writing Month Challenge, known as well, here we go, Laurel.
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo. Everyone,
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo. Here in AltSpace VR. They meet every day here to write together to meet the 50,000 words goal, 50,000 words in 30 days goal. This year, more writers are participating than ever before, and you could be the one. We recommend you attend in 2D and bring along something to write on with, like your computer. There will be great prompts to encourage your creative writing skills every day. The event starts November 1st.
It's a
All
chance to tell your
right.
story, write your story.
Write it down. Vitality Reawaken features a special event on Wednesday with life coaches Turbo and Rachel D to talk you through From Rut to Rhythm, part of a 10 session series to discover the best version of yourself. These innovative leaders are changing attitudes and lives right here in Allspace VR. And what a great privilege to work with them to make all our lives better.
Mm-hmm. Tom Nichols continues his wonderful street art events featuring the work of Banksy and other street artists from around the world. It's a great opportunity to learn more about graffiti and the influence of street art on society and society's influence on this modern art form. So check out the events Thursday and throughout the week.
Simulation Nation on Thursday dives into all things anime. With Adventure Time VR, the founder of ASVR Channel C's Anime Club. They'll talk about the history and evolution of anime and the game-changing legends that drove the art form forward into today. Check it out on Thursday.
Next Saturday is an amazing workshop meetup with the New York 3D Variety Show by the New York Stereoscopic Association. Their work here in Allspace VR to bring 3D stereoscopic images into virtual worlds is stunning and so informative. If you're a world builder and you aren't attending these innovative sessions, you're missing out on a powerful feature of world building. So check it out on Saturday. And our very own Dave, with the long hair and the mustache to my left, you're right. If you have any questions after the show, he's very involved with this and has built some beautiful worlds in here.
Yeah, you're doing a good Gray Ghostly now, Dave. I love it. Now, and trust me, until you've seen these, if you have not seen these 3D stereoscopic stuff here in Allspace, you haven't experienced this amazing potential of what VR can really do. It's mind bending. Also, next Saturday, before the news and updates, check out the Neon Lights with Dr. Heartbeats. Our resident doctor and DJ magical hands that move us to the rhythm to breathe in the euphoria and experience the vibrancy of life under neon lights and countless stars in the neon rain world. What a great relief and sanctuary after a couple weeks of haunting horrors, right? Nice change.
Okay, remember everyone, some countries, not everybody, some country areas will fall back an hour this Sunday and others next Sunday. Please triple check event times and
I'm
with
not saying
event
that.
hosts to ensure the event times for your favorite events. News and updates will be 1 hour earlier next Saturday for the UK and Europe.
Yeah,
Wow. Earlier.
it depends.
We might
See,
get
it
more
depends
people.
on where you are. It depends on where you are. It could be
Yes.
an hour
True, it's
later. It
true.
could be the same time. We don't know.
I better come in
Always-
here 2 hours early just to make sure.
Check out all the many events here in Allspace VR and mark an event as interested. So you will be notified through the email you use to sign up for Allspace VR an hour in advance of this event. Remember to do that and keep checking those events so the time doesn't change.
Yeah. Well, that is it this week for the news and updates. Thank you for joining us here every week and for celebrating 4 years of the news and updates here every Saturday, no matter what time it is in your time zone. Marcia?
Yep.
Yep, there you are.
We could not do this without our amazing volunteer team of reporters, moderators, filmers, and support team. If you would like to join the News and Updates team, let us know. We'd love to teach you about how all this insanity comes together at the last minute every week. It's a great way to learn about event production as well.
We do
live
all of this
stream-
for you for free to help you be a better informed community. We are volunteers. We are not Allspace VR employees. We do this because we believe in you, the community, and we are here for you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm kind of lost now.
Karen,
Laurel.
C.
Okay. We live stream the news onto YouTube and Twitch every week, and you can catch up with past episodes and more about Allspace VR events, projects, news, and community activities as well in our News and Updates Discord.
Laurel E.
Thank you to all of our friends and our community members. We are so with you. Stand tough, stand up, stand tall, and most of all in these uncertain times, please be safe wherever you are. And thank you everyone again for all the help and support. I am now going to fall down. Seriously. Thank you all. Happy Halloween.
Stay well, Laurel. Stay
Yes.
well. We love you all.